Thanks, Ken. Thank you, John, for having us. My name is Paul Longo, Head of Agency Development at Microsoft. I'm going to be joined on stage by my colleague, Alan Klein, and also our client from Home Advisor, Ryan Weiss, in a few minutes. And all three of us are really excited to be here this morning, not because we're getting you all energetic and fresh and not yet hungover, but because the theme of today is all around the humanization of AI. And the humanization of AI is a huge focus for Microsoft as a company all up. And that's also the theme for our presentation today. And when we talk about the humanization of AI, AI is driving more personalized, customized, and human experiences for search. And then we're also seeing search drive the intelligence graph behind AI across all of our artificial intelligence platforms at Microsoft. But before we dive in to AI, I just want to reground everybody on the initial value proposition of search. So as we all know, the power of search is to be at the right place at the right time when people are searching for answers. And this value proposition is tried and true, and it hasn't changed really over the past, really 2 decades. But how that value proposition is delivered from an experience standpoint has changed significantly. Voice is driving a lot of this. So by 2020, over 50% of all searches are going to be either driven through voice or through images. And the types of engagements that we're going to have with brands and with companies are going to be more driven by technology. 85% of those interactions are going to be done through either a bot or through a digital assistant. And those, with the Internet of Things, those conversations are going to proliferate across a multitude of devices as devices become more AI-empowered and infused. We reached a pretty big breakthrough at Microsoft over the past year. Our natural language processing rate from machine to human understanding hit parity with human to human understanding. So machines can understand humans just as well as humans can understand humans today. And this is really going to catapult and change the dynamic of search. We're already starting to see this. So on Cortana right now today, we have 150 million Cortana users. And we've seen 8 billion questions come through Cortana to date. And a lot of those questions are voice-driven. And we're also creating new experiences. So Bing is integrated into our mixed reality experiences through HoloLens. So why invest in the Bing network? How is Bing playing an active role in the new humanized, personalized area of search? Well, number one, we have a bigger slice of the pie. Bing currently has a 33% share of the marketplace. We're driving 8.8 billion queries per month, and you can reach half of the US population on Bing. So also from a revenue standpoint, Bing and Microsoft Advertising is now a profitable, thriving piece of the Microsoft business, and we're growing 15% year over year. We're also creating new experiences. So some of the feedback we've gotten from our users of Windows 10 is that they love the Bing experience and the Cortana experience on Windows 10, but they want to extend that to other devices, to other operating systems. And we're starting to do just that. So through the Microsoft Launcher on Android, users are able to start a search experience on Android and then continue that on their PC, and vice versa. So if you're starting a conversation with Cortana on Android, you could pick up that conversation on your laptop. This also extends to the Office suite of products. So if you start a PowerPoint presentation on your laptop, you continue that presentation where you left off on Android.
Volvo is really
jumping on a little bit. And one of the exciting things that about search on Microsoft as well is that it's part of something bigger. So as I mentioned, search is integrated into our mixed reality HoloLens platform. And I want to share a video right now, which is showing how we're currently working with our client Volvo to create more personalized human experiences through the HoloLens platform.
Volvo is really a human-centric company. That's the core focus of everything we've done in terms of the products we develop, but also the way we interact with their customers. all people know that we stand for safety, but Volvo is so much more. HoloLens helps us to push the envelope on innovation for our customers.
The HoloLens is a device that you put on your head, and it doesn't intrude in any of the things you do, but it also extends the realities around you.
You can do something you could never do before. You can see the soul of the car. You can strip the body out and stay with the skeleton, and you can play around with it.
The HoloLens can allow our customers to see features, colors, options. So rather than working on the computer, seeing things, you can be part of the experience.
No one understands how car sensors actually works today. Through the HoloLens, you can see how the car perceives you. And then you give me as a human being the vantage point of a sensor. It helps to build a much better trust in this type of systems.
For example, you see a car coming in front of you. The car has features that could aid in that situation. We have a lot of features that we don't necessarily want you to experience it all, but it's part of our proposition. You're buying into the safest car brand in the world.
One of the great things that was said to us by Volvo when we started this was that Volvo loves technology, but only if it makes people's lives simpler. Microsoft HoloLens lets people take imagination and make it real, much more efficiently and in a much more collaborative manner.
HoloLens will not only help us in the car buying process at the dealership, it can evolve into many areas. We think there are many alternative applications of this tool in the future, and Volvo clearly has an aspiration to break out of the pack.
It's cool. It's way cool.
So pretty cool stuff. And as mentioned, Bing is integrated, Windows 10 is integrated into the HoloLens experience. And there's a couple of other cool things that we're really excited about at Bing that we think are pretty cool for advertisers and that advertisers could take advantage of today. And these are in the areas of audiences and then also conversations. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our audience offerings, and then I'm going to bring up Alan and Ryan, and they're going to talk about conversations and what Microsoft is offering from a bot standpoint. So in-market audiences, let me get a show of hands from the audience. How many people here have either bought, sold, or implemented an audience-targeted campaign over the past 12 months? The majority of the people in the room. And you're not alone. Half of all digital advertisers plan on increasing their spending on audience targeting efforts in the future, which I think is probably even a conservative estimate. And from a Microsoft standpoint, we have a couple of products here. The first one is called in-market audiences. And in-market audiences takes the intent data that we're getting from Bing and combines it with data that we're seeing across our Microsoft platforms, such as MSN and Outlook. So you could imagine someone who is searching for a new car, but also visiting MSN Autos, falling into an in-market auto intender segment. And these segments are driving tremendous results. We're seeing on average, advertisers that are implementing our in-market audiences are seeing 28% increases in CTR and 48% increases in conversion rate. And we're also seeing a lot of advertisers test multiple segments across verticals. So as you can imagine, if a new mom is in the market for a new stroller, she might also be looking for a bigger car. So we're seeing some advertisers test these segments across multiple verticals and also finding success. So the second audience product that we're really excited about is custom audiences. So today you could bring your first-party CRM data into the Bing Ads platform, and we launched this about 6 months ago in pilot with Adobe. They were our first DMP partner, and I'm very excited to announce for the first time that we have just partnered with Oracle. So advertisers that are utilizing the Oracle DMP can globally import your Oracle DMP segments onto the Bing Ads platform. So we're really, really excited about this. The Oracle DMP is a trusted DMP. It's a very highly used DMP, and we think this is really going to help accelerate our audience efforts on Bing. So just to give a quick example of how an audience targeted campaign could work, we've done a mock-up with our Xbox One campaign. So Xbox One, a lot of excitement around the Xbox One launch around the holidays. And if if I'm the Xbox One marketing manager and I see a search come through for Xbox One, but I know nothing about the individual who's behind that search, I might be okay with 4th position. I might be okay ceding top positions to our retail partners. But if I know more about that search, if I know about who that searcher is, and if I know that that searcher is a Microsoft customer, someone who currently owns an Xbox and might be willing to upgrade, now, hey, I might be, that's a more valuable person. It's not just a search, it's an individual. And I'm likely going to be more apt to pay more to reach that individual and take that top spot. So if anyone does have any questions, we could do Q&A at the end. But if people want to know more about the Oracle DMP offering, please let me know. Follow up with me afterwards. Again, we're ready to onboard customers that are currently using Oracle. I'm going to turn over now to Alan and Ryan, who are going to talk through some of our bot opportunities that Microsoft is developing.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. So I have the pleasure of talking about Microsoft's bot initiatives. We talk about AI with a lot of ambition, right? And I think rightly so, because we're not at a spot where we've realized a lot of that yet. In marketing, of course, we've been using AI for, maybe some bid algo adjustments. We use it specifically with Bing to match intent and to index the web. But what I want to talk about today is what can we do today? And where do we see that kind of future? And what are those building blocks? And we have HomeAdvisor with us here today, and Ryan from HomeAdvisor, who's going to talk a little bit about that. So we anticipate that the majority of brands will have chatbots by 2020. I don't think this is surprising. Is anybody in here experimenting with chatbots? Cool. Just a couple hands. Well, we'll talk more tonight then. But we see this major shift in computing, right, where natural language will be largely how we start to talk to computers, right? And we're seeing this already with, specifically over in China, actually, with Zhao Ice on WeChat, where consumers are totally interacting with businesses all through chat. And it's really, really natural, and it's catching on over there. And we anticipate something similar to happen here. But when we think about chatbots, first thing that always comes to mind for most customers is customer service and support. Right? It's an easy cost savings. But there's a lot more that we can do beyond that, right? There's different interaction points with these canvases that we'll have where we can use really cool technology to delight the customer for acquisition or maybe upselling or cross-selling. So we'll walk through a couple examples of that today. One of the things, though, that's really difficult is discoverability. And we've recognized this, right? There are a couple different ad products. Facebook has their messenger ads that you can use. But we also are launching our chat extensions. So on the Bing SERP, when you search for whatever term you'd like, as a brand, you can actually deploy a chat extension, which will trigger your bot. This has to be built on the Microsoft Bot Framework, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But this is important because consumers trust a search results page. We've been doing this for years, right? We know how to search, we know how to click on ads, we feel comfortable. And really, the engines do a good job at making sure that we're giving you good results and the customer good results. So this is a really, we believe, a natural extension of that. So this will be in pilot in early of next year, but you have to be built on our frameworks. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I would like to talk and invite Ryan up to the stage. We have a great partnership with HomeAdvisor where we're building a bot with them. So Ryan, I'll turn it over to you and you can talk through that a little bit.
Thank you, sir. All right, well, thank you to Microsoft and to Bing specifically for having us here to showcase this new technology. I, too, am going to poll the audience, be real original here. How many of you guys have heard of HomeAdvisor? By a show of hands. All right, sizable. Now, how many of you have used HomeAdvisor? Much smaller subset. That's okay, I won't hold you accountable. But anyways, so for those of you that didn't raise your hands, I'll quickly go over who we are, what we do. HomeAdvisor is a home services marketplace. We help homeowners, consumers, find and connect with pre-screened background check contractors. We have contractors in our network, about 175,000 of them, that cover about 500 project categories and about 1,000 projects specifically. Anything from handymen all the way up to home builders and remodelers. And the Home Advisor network facilitates these connections through technologies that we've created. So what we've done is we've created 3 to 4 different ways to connect with contractors based on how consumer behavior dictates it. So if you are the type of person that likes to do a bunch of research, you want to get multiple quotes, you want to talk with multiple people, we have a pro finding technology where we'll surface multiple pros that you can talk to, et cetera. If you have an emergency and you just need to talk to someone right away, we've built a technology where we can get a pro to call you in under 60 seconds. And then last, if you are a millennial, like I am, and you don't want to talk to anybody, you can actually go on, just like you go on to OpenTable to book a reservation, you can go on to Home Advisor, you can put in the date and time that you want a pro to show up, click a button, and one will. So it's really interesting, and it's really a unique situation that Home Advisor's in, because it allows us to leverage these technologies and work with partners like Microsoft to strip them down and provide the experience through their platform. So today we're talking about the chatbot that we've built together. The home services industry hasn't changed much over the last, I would even say almost 100 years. It's been word of mouth oriented. It's been very back and forth. I want to have a conversation. I want to do the research. And with AI and with this new chatbot, we have taken that experience and we have developed a way where a consumer can have that back and forth, not necessarily with a human, but with this new technology. And so you take a high-level search query like, I need a plumber, right? So something breaks in your house, you have a leaky pipe. People aren't going in and searching, I have a leaky pipe in my basement that I need fixed. They're saying, I need a plumber. So with the technology, we go from, I need a plumber to, okay, what is the issue? And then we ask a few questions, and it's a back and forth process. And we can drill all the way down to getting to the very specific task that needs to be executed. And that then allows us to surface professionals who are available and who want to take on that project, that specific project. So it's a really powerful experience in the sense that Home Advisor is allowing consumers to drill down, and we're providing really great leads to our contractors. And on the flip side, the consumer is confident and comfortable with selecting a contractor from our network because they know that they're getting connected with one that can actually help them with their project specifically. And so that is where we're at today, where we see the future going and where we're working with Microsoft on sort of future technologies is the ability to actually snap a photo of the issue in your home and for AI to be able to plug into that and say, that's a broken fence, that's a broken pipe, and to be able to drill down and actually find the right contractor to help you execute that project. So we're very excited to be a part of this. We're very excited to be one of the first partners to venture into this field, and very excited to be here. So thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. We really appreciate the partnership, and it's a partnership we want to have with more of you in the room. One of the key parts about our bot framework that really sets it apart is the scalability. We talked a little bit about discoverability in regards to chat extensions, right? Now, right now where consumer behavior is at, it's a little bit early to start. We're not seeing chat pick up really, really fast. We see it between humans a lot, but with bots, it's getting started, right? And we know this is going to take time, and we have to delight our customers. One of those things that helps get scalability and reduce your development time and cost is our bot connector. So how this works is when you build on the Microsoft bot framework, you can take that same set of code and deploy it to multiple channels. We manage the channels for you, so we know what's available in Skype, Slack, Twilio, Facebook, and Bing, and we know the right conversational elements that those fields can take. So when you build it once and you deploy through our connector, you have scalability across all of these channels. This is also important because then you look at your marketing mix and you can start to see different behavior across different channels because you're using the same core technology behind all of it. So maybe on Facebook, when I'm using Facebook ads, I see it's a really acquisition-driven behavior. But when somebody's texting with my business, it's maybe more CSS behavior. And so I know I need to allocate resources differently, and I need to change my marketing mix. But you can only do that when you deploy at this scale. And so this is a really key part of it, and this is where we're seeing a lot of growth right now. So a little thing that's really fun to think about is what can you do? Now, a lot of times I think that publishers, companies want to come up here and say, hey, this is the crystal clear version of the future that we understand completely. I don't think that's the case because there's just too much we don't know. We don't know how consumers are going to interact with these things. But there's a reality that we have really cool technology that can delight them right now. Ryan gave the example where you can take a picture of your problem and our Vision API can actually recognize what the problem is. Or think about it from a language translation point of view. What if you built a chatbot and you're advertising it and then the user speaks French to it? What do? You didn't build a chatbot in French. But our language API can real-time translate that. Even in voice, if somebody's speaking French into the chatbot, we can actually translate that, decipher it, and return it back in French. So it gives you that scalability. So when we think about where users are, we can really quickly just light that up to the languages. We could think about the modality that they're experiencing. If they're on their mobile phone, they have a camera that they can just lift up and press a button, or they can share their location. Or maybe they ask a question to the bot that the bot doesn't know. Like, what's an asphalt roof? What's a shingle roof? And it can query Bing and return that response in the chat canvas. But it's these tools and technologies that I think we need to figure out together. We need to try these things to delight our customers, and that's something we look forward to doing with you guys. So we've got a big Microsoft crew here today. Microsoft team, can you guys raise your hands? Cool. So if you guys want to talk about this a little bit further, we would absolutely love to engage with you guys. And with that, cool. Let's install the next version of Windows. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. We actually have a minute or two for any questions you may have. Feel free. Give some zingers if you got any zingers out there. I don't know what a zinger is, but if you got one, do it.
Take them.
You've got, all right, let's get, Steve, you got a question?
Real quick question.
Quick question, all right. Well, hold on. When you're asking questions throughout the 3 days here, just let us know who you are, where you're from, so we can just know that forever. Let's do that.
For sure. Okay. Steve Gibson from Canvas. Will Bing particularly call out when something's a voice search? Will we ever be able to see that within our dashboard?
I think it's really too early to give like a definitive answer on that. I think at some point it probably would make sense. Right now, actually, with specifically around bots and skills, yes, you have that ability. It's reported with the form factor that comes in on. So you can do that. I would say like in Bing ads specifically, that is not reported.
I think you can, yeah, there's something to work on to see, but I think it's still early days there, but I think today, we are noticing that search queries are longer, they're more in question form, they're more localized. So I think you can, just by looking through your search query reports, get a good sense of, today what searches are coming through voice.
Yeah. We do that now. It's still an assumption. We don't necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy, yeah.
Okay. So thank you guys. If you have any questions for these guys, they've got a great team here. Thank you so much for kicking things off for us today, Bing. And I'm in front of the speaker. That's why that's happening. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for Paul.